Hey, what is up, everyone? This is Queenly Vibes. So, I am back with another video, of course. And okay, so this video is about the Lifetime movie for Gabby Petito. Okay, so this is the Lifetime movie for Gabby Petito. And so, we got to chat about this. Okay, let me get everything set up here properly. Anyways, I pray that you guys have had a beautiful Sunday. It is evening where I am, so greetings to each and every one of you wherever you're watching this video from. And thank you to all new subscribers. I really appreciate you and all of my subscribers. I'm very grateful and appreciative, and God bless you all. So if you're stopping by this channel for the first time, go ahead and give this video a thumbs up. All of the likes, it really helps, and subscriptions and all of that good stuff. Subscribe to my channel. Feel free to leave a comment. I like communication and all of that, and share the video. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and jump into this. And I took several notes with this movie and everything. I don't know, for some reason I haven't been watching too many Lifetime movies lately because I don't know, they sorry to say, but it's been kind of a little bit boring to me. I don't know, nothing has really been grabbing my attention. This Lifetime movie, I thought, since I've actually followed the story with the missing of Gabby Petito, when all of that happened, it's just horrible. I feel really bad for her, her parents and her friends. So, of course, my condolences to Gabby Petito's. If you guys ever watch this video, my condolences. You're in my prayers, of course, and to her friends and family members, and and everything. Because after the movie, I watched behind the scenes, or with the story and everything. So a couple of her friends were interviewed, her parents, and all of that, and just very, very sad situation. Extremely sad. And of course I'm going to get into just a little bit of race, and I have to, because I am an African American woman, and I just believe that everything should be fair, and it's just quite unfortunate that in a lot of missing persons cases, as far as people of color, we don't get the same type of treatment. Everyone is important. Everyone's lives is important and everything. But it was just so I don't know. It's like, of course I'm glad that her case got so much of media attention and all of that. Very happy about that, and of course, this isn't about me being, I'm not a racist or anything like that. I'm just living my life as an African American woman. This is how God created me, and so many beautiful people of color, black, brown, all different races, and it's just about everyone, being treated fairly. And of course I know that there's so many people that's filled with hate, and they're not going to change. You all have to answer to God. Those of you who are out there that are full of, just filled with hate, you hate black people, you hate, people of color, that's between you and God. And I pray for your sick soul. Anyhow, I don't want to go off into a tangent about it yet, and still I am going to speak out on a couple of things, because the young man Jelani Day, I believe around this time he was missing, and just so many of the stories with concerning people of color that didn't get the same amount of overwhelmingly um, of attention. You know, Jelani Day's case did get a little bit of buzz, but you know, you just had, you know, America honing in on this particular case, and you know, treated her like America's sweetheart. You know, and she was. You know, again, like I had compassion. You know, and especially after finding out how how everything ended. You know, just really, really horrible. You know what I mean? So, you know, again, my condolences. So anyhow, let's jump into the movie and everything. So I watched this last night. It felt kind of rushed, you know, and again, I'm not sure why they decided to do it that way. And then another thing, I was just really surprised that this movie would be out so soon, you know, and I kind of just felt, you know, well, not kind of, I felt really bad for her parents, you know what I mean, for Gabby's parents and everything, seeing that this movie, you know, about this, you know, part of her life is just already out, you know, so, you know, they would have to relive this or what have you, you know. I was just like, really? This is, you know, it's already a movie, but you know what? When all of this was going on, I said, you know what, this is going to be a Lifetime movie. And I predicted that. I knew it was going to be a Lifetime movie. And, you know, just like other events, like the Chris Watts story and all of that, you know, and the list goes on. So, anyhow, Gabby Petito, she was a 22-year-old young lady. Brian Laundrie, he was 23. They met at Bayport Blue Point High School, okay, which is, they shared a hometown of Long Island, New York. So they were, you know, originally New Yorkers, okay, and excuse me, the couple had been dating for several years. They eventually got engaged the year of 2020. The month of July. So like I said, I had to write, you know, I had to really get into my notes and everything. Okay, let me just back up a little bit. Let's talk about the actors. Based on the fact that we can only really go by what the media has put out about this couple, you know, I didn't know anything about them other than what, you know, social media put out about them and all of that, the news media and all of that. So the actors seem to have acted their roles really well. I think what was the creepiest for me was the guy that portrayed Brian Laundrie. And I say that because he was like his doppelganger. Like this dude completely was, you know, is Brian Laundrie's twin. And I just was like, okay, this is kind of creepy, you know, or what have you. I mean, and even when the you know, the search was out for her, it was a lot of guys popping up that looked so similar to him, you know what I mean, when they were out looking for him and everything. So anyhow, I just really thought like, wow, okay, he really looks like him. The actress that portrayed Gabby, she favored her, but I didn't really feel like she looked like her. But I overall, from again, you know, the media or what have you, she seemed to have taken on her mannerisms, you know, quite well or what have you. Anyhow, yeah, so the thing is, what I can see with this couple, they were young, and like I said, they dated several years in their hometown. Let me go back. Let me see. It was like an on again, on and off relationship. Um, they actually met again at Gabby's, I think her brother's high school graduation, where they saw each other again and everything, and they linked up. She put her phone number in his phone, and it was like the rest was history. They were inseparable, ever since that link up. So, they were dating, pretty heavily, and, the mom, she was a little bit taken back. She, liked the fact that her daughter, okay, she's dating someone and she's happy, yet she wanted to know, did he have any type of goals, and, like, what did he plan on doing, as a, career and everything, which are, very valid questions, as a mother and everything. She knows what would have been best for her daughter. Just as an adult, you have to pass that, that experience down to your kids. You know what I mean? As they're growing up and getting out into the world, you want them to have partners who have goals. Especially, if you see that maybe they might get married, they're engaged, or what have you. You want both kids, to have some type of goals and everything, have a career, because you can't survive off of love. You just can't go and get a condo or get a home and just say, oh, okay, well, we, because of our love, we'll survive. No, we know that as adults, we've experienced life and everything, so we know bills have to be paid. You have to have, stability and all of that. It's no joke once you're out here and everything. So anyhow, the mom had questions and everything because, I guess she can just sense like, well, he really doesn't really seem to have goals or anything. So, what's going on? And of course, Gabby, she kind of took up for him and all of that or whatever. She's a young girl in love. So, that's just what we do. We're going to stand by our man and, all of that or whatever. She was a young girl living life and just experimenting and becoming her own woman. Everyone normally goes through that at some point. So this is what was happening. So anyhow, all of a sudden, her and Brian, they had this conversation. So he eventually told her that he was leaving and going to Florida. So she was very upset because, she was like, well, when did you plan on telling me, we're in a relationship, like, what's going to happen to us, all of that. So they decided that, she decided that she would go with him, so she ended up leaving New York and going to Florida with Brian, and they lived with his parents. And hang on a second. So the parents were from, I thought I put that in my notes. I want to say Northport, Florida. Some part of Florida. They were down here. I'm from Florida as well, but yeah, they the parents have like a juicer business here in Florida and all of that. I don't know, since like after all of this has happened, if they still have that business or not, or whatever. Anyhow, they moved down here in the parents' condo or what have you, to just begin their life and everything. So then from there, they both started working at Publix. supermarket. Gabby was a pharmacy technician. Not exactly sure what Brian's job description was, but they were both working at Publix, which isn't bad. You know, young kids at Publix. And you know, watching this and everything, I did kind of want to know what was Brian's goals. You know, I think she said something about he was an artist or what have you, but I never heard anything about any type of career plans of what did he plan on doing to be stable with a career, or maybe he was going to join his family business or something like that. So I'm not really sure, but he didn't really seem to express a lot of his goals and all of that the way that Gabby did. You know, she was kind of like this, you know, like she was star-eyed and bushy-tailed and excited to go on a different path in her life and just explore the world and everything. You know, she seemed like a big dreamer, you know what I mean? Like she, you know, obviously she was very adventurous and all of that, and just this free spirit. In other words, that's more or less like the words that I'm looking for. She was free spirited. She seemed to have had a very beautiful personality, beautiful girl inside and out, according to what I can see in the great things that people had to say about her. And you can see that she was, you know, she was living out her dreams, you know, and I don't know, they just didn't seem to match each other, you know. He seemed a little bit more, you know, just serious and kind of wanted to be stuck under her. You know, he was very smothering type. You know, he was extremely jealous, very possessive, you know, and very codependent upon her in that relationship. And he was very insecure, which makes all of the ingredients for a disaster of a relationship. So, I mean, you know, he just had all the signs there that he was just not the right mate for her, you know. And he also, you know, I'm hearing that, you know, he was taking medication, you know, because she told him, you know about your medication when you have anxieties and stuff like that. And that's something that, you know, I didn't know prior to this movie that he was taking medication. But when you just in watching him, you know, the famous video when they had that, you know, the big fight and everything, and someone called the cops, and, you know, all of the physical abuse, I do believe that he was beating her and everything. That video was so eerie. You know, I just wish to God that she would have just told one of the police officers, you know, that she was in trouble, and that, you know, if some type of way they could have just protected her to get away from him so she could have went back home, you know, to her parents. And, you know, and I know she probably felt as if that, you know, that he wouldn't have hurt her. But this is always the outcome in these domestic violence situations, that majority of the time these guys end up taking these girls' lives because they can't imagine them moving on and being with someone else or what have you. Like, they completely become deranged, you know. And as we can see in a lot of these domestic violence situation, you know, that the media, these guys are taking the lives of their partners, you know. And it's not always the men, it's sometimes it's the women, but majority of the time it's the men that are taking the lives of their partners, you know. So it's really scary out here. So, you know, young ladies, I would advise for you guys not to continue to go back into a situation that is, violent. If there's physical violence involved, you need to get out of that relationship. That's not a healthy relationship. It does not mean that the guy loves you and all of that. That is not the proper way to feel love. That isn't love. Physical violence, mental, what's the word I'm looking for? Mental abuse, emotional abuse. None of these things equate love. It's not love. Okay, so you all need to, wait and connect with the right partner if you're choosing to date, and you have some goals and standards about yourself. Know that know your self-worth, know your worth. That you don't just have to hook up with any guy just because you're feeling lonely or whatever the case may be. Know your worth. Because people's lives around here are being taken. It's not a game. It's not cute. None of those things. So please, I would advise you guys, make sure you're taking care of yourselves and get to know your partner. Know his background. Know what's going on with this guy. If he's acting nutty, psychotic, or whatever, a break away from it. It's not sexy. This is not the movies or what have you. You're talking about your life. Your life is, in danger. So please get out. Anyhow, I have to, stress things like that because it's so much that I've learned. By the grace of God, I'm here. I've been in abusive relationships and everything like that. So I like to pass down my wisdom, because I don't know if you're not listening to the right people. Hopefully you can come past this video and know that someone cares about you. I don't know you, but hey, I care about you and everything. And first and foremost, God loves you. God cares about you, So know that you are loved. Okay? Anyways, back to this relationship. So I'm not going to go into the whole, the ending of the movie because we already know the outcome of it and everything. And it's just very unfortunate. But, they were definitely not compatible. Let me get back to Gabby. As I mentioned, I like how they portrayed, her as far as being a free spirit. And she even went online, she went online, and I didn't know they had an app where you can hook up with someone to become friends with them. I didn't know they had that, And I would say be careful in any of these apps, that are out there. But she ended up meeting a really good friend or, what have you, because she wanted to have a life. Yes, she wanted her relationship and everything, but she also wanted to have a life. Brian, on the other hand, it's like he made her his life, and he even told her that, like, oh, you're my whole world, you're my life. And no one should be your whole world. God is your whole world. So I'm not going to go into my preachy mode here, but I kind of almost like I want to preach in a sense of, you don't make anyone or anything your whole world. If it isn't God, then no, you just don't do that. Okay? Anyhow, yeah, so the point that I was making, so she mentioned to Brian, oh yeah, this is the point. She wanted to be a travel influencer. So she wanted to do, like this cross country vlogging trip where she can become a social media influencer. And I thought that was beautiful. I thought that was a wonderful dream and everything. And he agreed to it or what have you. This wasn't his personality, or this was all her. This was her dream. So, but she thought that, that he was into it a little, like her. She thought that he was into it. But come to find out, he was just only doing it to appease her or what have you. But it was like he kind of didn't believe in her with this dream or what have you. And then he was extremely, not only was he jealous and possessive with her, but I also feel as if he was jealous of her because of the fact that she had goals, and she was taking the steps to live out her dreams. And I think that he was very jealous of that. And anytime she would talk to a guy, or a guy would say anything to her, he was insanely jealous. And when she started her whole vlogging, guys were making comments, and stuff like that. And it wasn't her fault, It's not her fault that, guys, were hitting on her and everything. And he just got completely insanely jealous, So it was just a recipe for disaster. And he didn't have anything going on in his life. And from what I can see, I don't know, it's something about him that I really, I don't want to say now or what have you, but in following the story, I kind of heard a couple of people saying this one particular thing about him, and I can kind of believe that it's true. The whole it's S killer. He kind of strike me as that type, or what have you. He just seemed really, really psycho. So anyhow, just with the whole thing unraveling, him coming back to Florida without her, and I followed the whole story up until the point of finding out that, he no longer existed or what have you. Just horrible. The way his parents behaved was just absolutely insanity. This girl lived in their home. She was supposed to have been like a daughter. So I just don't understand how people can behave like that. And he runs home and get a lawyer, and so he's a mute running around. And just so much about this case was just absolutely horrible. Okay. Anyhow, my take on the movie, I don't know. I just thought it was too soon to be out. Like I said, I feel bad for her parents and everyone that had something to do with her, that knew her. I just thought that was, I don't know, not tasteful at all. The movie was kind of short and just breezed through everything. But it wasn't bad. I think if anything, if you guys watch the movie, I would advise check it out. I give it a good, I don't know, 6 or what have you. I give it a 6, Like I said, it was rushed. Yeah, I give it a 6, but I would recommend that you guys go and watch it for yourselves. And leave a comment. Let me know what you think. Very unfortunate story. And like I said, I'm really praying for change, that when someone is missing, no matter the color of their skin, that everyone can get the equal amount of attention that went on surrounding this young lady, which she needed. But I pray the same treatment for all people. Okay? So anyhow, this is about Gabby Petito. It's the new Lifetime movie. Go ahead and check it out. And I will see you guys next time. Take care. And thanks for vibing with me.